I'm Edsel Anderson. I was on the 51-52 team. And the story I have to tell is during the football season, about 6 or 7 of us football players, they were having some kind of comedy or a magician show or something. So we decided to go. Well, when we got there, some of the other players had gone down to practice. And Coach Meredith sent word for us to get down there. Well, we decided we would not go. So we stayed up there. And when we finally got to practice, Coach Meredith ran us. I mean, he ran us, ran. We decided we're going to quit. We're not going to put up with that. Well, we did. Well, in a few days, Larry was the captain of the team. Mr. McGowan called him in, said, you need to get back on that football team. So I don't know who went where, but Larry started, he and some of the others. And they went back, had to go back and apologize to Coach Meredith. Then each of us did the same thing, finally had all of us back on there. But we caught it, I'm telling you, we caught it for staying up there and watch that comedy or magician show or whatever.
Story or
Okay, Larry Underwood, and I played in 51 and 50 and 51. And as far as this story with us going to the magician show or something, I remember that only too well. When we walked back and got out there, Coach Meredith said 40 laps around this deal. We was over there on the baseball field, and we had to run 40 laps. And I guess we took it to heart. And anyway, after that, I was, like Edsel said, I was called up to the principal's office, and he asked me what had happened, and I explained what we did. And so he told me I needed to go back down and apologize, and I had to go back down to the room and go in there with the coach and all the players and apologize to them for us making a huge mistake. But back then, you know, you're young and crazy, and you shouldn't do that, but we did. And another time, I'll tell you a story. We didn't always have a lot of people out for practice because there wasn't that many of us to do it, you know. And one Saturday we was out here, and I never will forget, was out here on the football field, and they didn't have enough players to play, so they put me in at a defensive tackle. And I tell you, I'd never played anything like that in my life, but I had a good time. But right at the end there, I got sandwiched in between somebody, and I got my hip hurt real bad, and I couldn't hardly walk. So that ended my deal for that year. I just kind of let her slide.
good.
Okay?
Talking about that show, let me just ask this. Did that happen during the season or before the season?
During the season.
Yes.
Do you remember how far into the season that was, or?
I think it was about halfway or something like that.
And which season was it? 51 season?
It was our last
senior year.
Yeah, it was.
Where was the show?
It was in the
The
old
auditorium.
auditorium over here.
Right.
Well, it's still, I guess it's still there, isn't it?
Yes.
You forget things.
Were you at the show or did you go to practice?
He was in practice that day.
We was the outlaws.
My name is James Flowers, or Bud, and I played 49 and 50 and 51. One thing I remember about Coach Coach Meredith, he was a hard man. You put out in practice, you put out in the game. And he didn't put up with much foolishness. I remember we would scrimmage for 45 minutes, and we'd start to run off the field. And Coach Meredith, he'd say, "That's it." So we get ready to run off. He said, "Hold it, we're not through. If we were on the goal line, or if we're at the 50-yard line, he'd say, line up. And he'd make a sprint for 50 yards. And you talking about tongues hanging out after scrimmaging, and and then running laps or sprints. And I don't know if Edsel and Larry remembers it, but he had a crazy song. I don't even know if it was a song. It's in our book when we graduated. He would sing, "Where was Mama? Where were you, Mama, when the train left town?" I asked Ina, she's pretty good at the song, and I said, "Do you remember that song at all?" She said, "I never heard of it." But he would sing that when he was in a good mood, and I'll never forget that. And it's in our yearbook. And Coach Meredith was standing there, and it was dedicated, a caption under his picture. And he would sing that when he was in a good mood, but when he wasn't in a good mood, he didn't sing. Appreciate it.
Who's got a story?
I do. I don't remember, my brother might have told you this. We went up to play Atmore one time, and we told Coach if we lost that we would walk home. Now we went up on the bus and everything, and we lost. So we all slipped out and got out of there, got dressed and slipped out of there, and we actually walked and hitchhiked home. I forget how many there was. There was about 6 or 8 of us that did that, and we got in with some crazy drivers that was about half drunk and they drove too fast and everything. We got down there, and I think we stopped in Bayonet, and he was going to bring us a little further and everything. We all got in there, and he tried to go with his car, and I think it must have stripped his transmission or gears or something, and we couldn't do anything. So we went up and I remember we went and kind of slept on the ground there. And the next day they come by and picked us up in a bus and took us home. But that was one of our stupid mistakes again.
What was Coach Meredith's reaction to that?
Just like all the rest.
And I'm sure Mr. McGowan didn't think too well
No,
of it.
he didn't. I can tell you he didn't.
I bet he wasn't singing the song when he came.
You're right there.